I pray you sing to the Lord a new song. Sing praise in the assembly of the righteous. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud on their beds. Let the high praise of God be on the mouths of the saints, and a two-edged sword in their hand to execute vengeance on the demonic nations and punishments on those peoples, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron.
Anytime I'm on any social media platform, I can't duck the mass immigration videos. I've been seeing them everywhere. And we're going to see today how Deuteronomy 30 is the mass immigration that's going on in Europe. You have people from the far and near eastern countries coming to Europe with their whole attire, you feel me, scaring the population. You got people in Scotland and England raging, they don't like it. It's a big thing going on right now. Like I said, I can't duck it. Anytime I'm on social media, that's the first thing I'm seeing. You feel me? It's the first thing I'm seeing. And you got them in comments. They're talking about, oh, good, we need to kick them out. Anything that has to do with a negative view of Islam in Europe or America, they're happy for it. And they're trying to kick them out of places like Portugal, you feel me? Places like France, even places like, we can say like Minnesota, where it has like a, let's say like a high Somali population, right? And most of them, they practice Islam. So it's this whole West versus Islam, and that's nothing new. But that to me ties with Deuteronomy 30, where the Most High says that he's going to take these curses off of us and put it on our nation, put it on other nations. Deuteronomy 30 is one of those chapters that Christians and a lot of people so-called believe in the Bible, they skip right over it. But that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how Deuteronomy 30 is happening before our eyes, and how the Europeans, how they went all around the world and mass immigrated and committed genocide to all these different countries in Africa and South America and North America. There's a lot of places, Far East, Middle East, the bottom of the bottom in Australia. They did it everywhere, right? So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to see how Deuteronomy 30 is happening right before our eyes. It's one of my favorite chapters, and I hope it's one y'all been studying. I've been trying my best to study it. I got a couple verses. I got a couple of videos I want to show y'all. Let me know if y'all see what I'm seeing in the comments, and let's get right into it. All praise to the Most High YHWH, B'Hashem YHWH.
I don't really feel like we're in Portugal.
Yeah, we're not really. We're not really in Portugal here because there's no Portuguese shops, no Portuguese people. Yeah. And look, we don't have anything against these people. We don't have anything against them. We wish them all the very best in India, in Pakistan, or in Bangladesh. But here, actually, we would actually like to have our own culture, our own businesses, our own people employed, our own people as employees, as employers. And this is actually not the case. You look around to your right, to your left, there's not a single Portuguese shop here, but there's like 20 phone shops. You don't need 20 phone shops in a 20-meter square radius.
Cheers, mate. Hello.
No way! Look at these jumpers, what the fuck? Why are you in here?
Where are you from? What's going on here? How long have you been in this country? That's what we're here to ask you. You? Both?
I was laughing.
Whoa. How do you mean? Out now. We're just going to ask questions.
Security, come in, mate.
Have you seen that? Welcome, ja. Stare of it. Stare of it. Stare of it. Merhabalar. Someone's just put a window through and it's...
His work really explores things around identity, migration, belonging. He was quite excited to come here to Minneapolis, his first major exhibition outside of Sweden, to really be able to talk to both sides of himself.
There's not enough words to say of how amazing this artist is.
Sweden and Somalia are quite connected in the migration of people across two different generations, really.
Is mass immigration a curse? I think so. I've seen a lot of scriptures to back it up. And let's get right into it. Deuteronomy 30:1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things come upon thee, the blessings and the curses which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all nations, whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee. Now, in the first line it says, and it shall come to pass. This is the Most High letting us know that these things, like the curses and the blessings, will happen. These things will happen, but once we've been scattered, there we're going to wake up to who we are and remember ourselves and start keeping all these commandments again. Verse 2. And shall return unto the Lord thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Verse 3. That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations where the Lord thy God has scattered thee. Now verse 7 is the point. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Now if we go back 2 chapters to Deuteronomy 28, that's where we see the blessings and the curses. But on a deeper level, the curses are throughout the whole Bible. Even the blessings are throughout the whole Bible, but specifically the curses. We see time after time when Israel gets judged, the Most High has a certain way of doing things. And one of those ways or judgments is by filling whatever country that he's judging with immigrants, people that are not from that land. For example, Lamentations 5:2. Remember, Lord, what has happened to us. Look and see our disgrace. Our inheritance has been turned over to strangers. And that's exactly what these Edomites in Europe and America are complaining about. Their beloved so-called culture that they have is being thrown on a silver platter to these other people from near and far Middle Eastern countries.
After the government struck a deal with its owner to house more than 160 asylum seekers there.
I am out here, first of all, I'm a mother, and I'm very, very concerned about the level of migration that's happening into our town. We are one of the smallest towns in Tipperary and we have 85% of international protection applicants. That's a huge number for any town, but for a small town like Roscrea that doesn't have any resources, we have over 1,000 IPAs in town. There's only 5,500 of a population in this town. That's a huge amount to expect anybody to take on.
Some people have said that the town has changed over the last few years. They're scared to go out at night. The playground is left without children. No people want to go there anymore. Why is that?
Well, I think a lot of the thing is, and here again, it's the arrogance of the men that are bringing them into the town. They don't provide any services for them. There's no recreational activities. So you have groups of 10 and 15 IPAs standing around in groups. Now, let it be said, if that was 10 or 15 Irish men standing around in groups, I would be intimidated. But when you're walking past a group of men and they're saying something to you in a different language and you don't know what they're saying, it's very, very intimidating. There's women, older women and men here who won't go to collect their pension on a Friday morning in town because the post office, outside the post office is where they gather. Now, I'm not saying these men could be, they're probably really, really nice lads, but any group that gathers in 15s and 20s is going to be intimidating.
While the protests have been mostly peaceful, some have turned violent, including in Dublin last year, where riots broke out after 3 young children and a woman was stabbed, allegedly by a man of Algerian origin.
Deuteronomy 28:66. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt have fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life.
I feel very threatened. I'm afraid to go out on my own. My sons won't let me go out on my own.
Deuteronomy 28:33. The fruit of thy land In all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
What I'll do now is rattle off all the things that illegal immigrants and asylum seekers can get for free in Britain today. So here we go. As soon as they arrive, they get new clothes and shoes. They get free accommodation, some in 4-star hotels. They can get priority access to social housing. And if there isn't any social housing, then the taxpayer will pay, sometimes above market rate, for private rental accommodation. They get free mobile phones, no need to hang around on an NHS waiting list. They can have access to an on-site GP and dentists. Unfortunately, though, there's very little chance of those doctors or dentists using medical age verification checks to determine that they're not actually a child, they are in fact a 54-year-old man, because that would be against their human rights. Which is why we see stories like this. A Sudanese man with a beard and a receding hairline is, of course, a child. And you might be wondering how he paid for that court case. Well, they get legal help for free as well. In fact, you're going to pay £60 million a year for them to fight to stay in Britain, because the government has just increased legal aid funding by 30%. If they have children, then they can get a free education. In fact, they can just keep having children, because once you're getting everything else for free, you might as well crack on and let us pay for them as well. Maybe they can't understand how much free stuff they get in Britain. But that's fine, because we'll give them an interpreter for free. But it gets worse. You are paying for illegal immigrants to learn how to become nightclub DJs. Croydon, a council placed into special measures with around £500 million of unpaid debt, is spending your money on trying to make migrant DJs a thing. But how will illegal migrants and asylum seekers travel around Britain? Well, in Oxfordshire, taxpayers were paying for illegal immigrants to have driving lessons and take their driving test. Look, it's really stressful getting all this free stuff. So some local councils are now paying for illegal immigrants to take yoga classes. Bristol Council, which faces 53 million quid in required savings, spent 270 grand of Home Office grants taking migrants to football matches. They can be given a free PlayStation.
Like I said earlier, it's beyond Deuteronomy 28. Curses that we found that were put on us throughout the whole Bible is being now transferred to the heathen, like Ezekiel 7:23. This happened to us, but now we can see it happening to them. Verse 23, make a chain, for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city full of violence. Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. Isaiah 1:7. Your country is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. Your land, strangers devour it in your presence. It is desolate, as overthrown by strangers. The same way, as I was saying before, in a deeper level, these curses that are on us and was on us is deeper than Deuteronomy 28. Because this is Isaiah, and this Most High is showing us that when we wasn't keeping the commandments, strangers were coming into our land, devouring it right in front of us. Like the Romans did that, the Greeks did that, the Assyrians and the Babylonians, they all did that, came to our land and in our face, trodden it down. And these are happening to Europeans now.
Angela was disgusted when I showed her footage of the rubbish dumped in the street, just a stone's throw from where she lives.
I would go nuts. I'd have to do something about it. Why are they just looking at that all day?
Yeah. It's disgusting, isn't it?
It's disgusting for you to look at out of their own window. Look, it's still going.
Guys, can we make some space, please?
Nahum 3:13, art thou better than Populus? Now Populus is ancient Thebes, which is modern day Luxor in Upper Egypt, right? So this is the prophecy against Nineveh, and the Most High is using an example how like Thebes or Populus was such a strong city, but still it fell. And that in a deeper sense is how today's Western European countries and all these countries actually, how they think they're so strong that they won't fall, how the Most High will come and reverse those curses, take it off of us and put it on them. That was situated among the rivers, that had the waters round about it, whose rampart was the sea, and her walls was from the sea. Ethiopia, Egypt were her strength, and it was infinite. Put and Laban were their helpers. Yet was she carried away, she went into captivity. Her young children also were dashed in pieces at the top of all the streets, and they cast lots for her honorable men, and all her great men were bound in chains. Thou also shalt be drunken, thou shalt be hid, thou also shalt seek strength because of thy enemies. And all thy strongholds shall be like fig trees with the first ripe figs. If they be shaken, they shall even fall into the mouth of the eaters. Now this is the point. Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women. Thy gates, the gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thy enemies. This is exactly what's going on in all these different European countries. Their gates or their borders are completely open for anybody to go through. When they're coming from North Africa, right? They're just taking a boat going right over the water. They're not taking the going through the mountains and all that. No, they're going to North Africa, getting on a boat and going straight inside. Easy. And then from there, they make their way either to France, Portugal, or UK or Ireland. So like the verse says, their gates are literally wide open. Europe and Africa are neighbors. Now, while I was doing research for this video, looking for clips and scriptures, I came across a very powerful interview with Alex Jones and Joe Rogan. This interview has been wiped off the internet, but I got a clip for y'all. It's very powerful.
By high-level senators come on my show. They ran a counter coup. There was a deal made with radical Islam to actually take over Europe and then the United States. And by that, make us not convert, but submit to Islam, not criticize it or they'd blow stuff up. They thought they'd bring in some, new masculine arm that would make us submit. And it got so bad that even our own intelligence agencies that had been corrupted said, well, this is too far. We're not doing it. And so America, about 4 years ago, started coming back up for air, and now we're just overthrowing their whole system. There's a huge war going on. It's beautiful. We are kicking their ass on every front.
Now, I do have to say that I don't believe or go with everything that Alex Jones says and has said in the past, but this specific instance, he was right on point. When this interview came out in 2017, he said, 4 years ago that they were combating that coup or whatever that was going against of that mass immigration or that mass Islamification of the Western world, that they were winning at that point. That would have been 2012, 2013 circa, right? But now fast forward over a decade later in 2025, we can see that they're losing. And I honestly believe that the curses are literally being taken off of us and put on them, and one of those examples is the mass immigration, right? Especially when this interview came out, or even earlier when he was mentioning this, all these were going on, 2013 circa, there was a lot of brothers and sisters in the truth, but not nearly as many as there are today, right? Especially after 2020, and you guys know what happened during 2020. A lot of brothers and sisters came into the truth during that time and afterwards, right? And it's like, the more you hear about the Hebrews and then the Israelites and how these people, these so-called Hispanics and blacks and Native Americans are connecting their lineage and heritage to these ancient people called the Hebrews, you feel me? Known as the Judeans. That now it seems like the more we hear about them, the more the world crumbles around us. You know what I'm saying? Why wasn't this a big mass awakening in the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, or any other time? Why is it now? Why is it as soon as we start hearing about who we are and where we come from and where we're going, the world is crumbling around us? It's not a coincidence. It's all being played by the Most High. and it's been prophesied, the nation's future judgments. Revelation 18:6. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. Revelation 16:19. And the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the city of the nations fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before God, to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. Right? So all these things that the Edomites and especially Babylon the Great, or the daughter of Babylon, has done, has to be done to her double, right? I can't imagine, because I know all these atrocities that they've done to us, but I can't imagine what double of that could feel like, right? Because the only reason why we made it through and we didn't completely get wiped out is because of God. But now if God is not on your side, what's going to happen? Well, I know exactly what's going to happen. Obadiah chapter 1 is going to happen. I'm not even going to say too much. We can leave that to another video. But like I said, I really think Deuteronomy 30 is coming to pass slowly and slowly. And we're seeing the curses being taken off of us and put on other nations, specifically the Edomites, right? It's been so long that we've been going through these curses. And now seeing this Western society crumble, this Western culture crumble, it's really a beautiful thing, and it reminds me that when the Most High says something, it's going to happen. I want to thank y'all for watching. I had many more scriptures and many more videos, but I didn't want to drag it out. I didn't want to just ramble on and on. I just try to put on a good little presentation for y'all to see. If y'all feel the same way in the comments, if y'all disagree, just keep it respectful. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want a part 2, we can get even deeper into it, because like I said, I kind of just went and touched the surface level. I didn't really go into the history of mass immigration and then the history of why they're immigrating there, what all these other things are going on that lead to this happening. But we know how the Most High is meticulous in the way he does things. He can set something up from 2,000 years ago to come unfold in front of our eyes now. But thank y'all for watching. You feel me? I got some more videos coming out, and I want to say all praise to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua.
Brethren, I pray you sing to the Lord a new song. Sing praise in the assembly of the righteous. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud on their beds. Let the high praise of God be on the mouths of the saints, and a two-edged sword in their hand to execute vengeance on the demonic nations and punishments on those peoples, to bind their kings with chains and their